All right, class is in session. This is testimony of a witness in the Jared Bridegan murder trial. And what I like to do is use criminal cases, like all my other content, or most of my other content, to show, things we can learn. And what I always say is, it's a great way to, especially with women, and this is no shade on women, we love women, but women have a public face and a private face. And we are seeing that definitely right now with the Lindsay Clancy. Everybody's talking about that one. I've yet to do a video on that one because that one has layers and is quite sensitive. So been kind of holding off on that one. But we see women on that one, just real quick to talk about that one. You see women on that one using their public face. Okay, and everybody's, women are off the chain and they're, supporting this Lindsay Clancy's murder and they're looking for, the husband as a suspect, when the Lindsay Clancy has confessed and they have stipulated with the prosecution and the defense have stipulated together that she did it. The police said she did it. Her husband said she did it. She said she did it. Her lawyer said she did it. So anyway, but yeah, TikTok detectives looking for the real murderer, I guess. But I say that to say a lot of the, the public face that you're seeing with women love attention. And this will they'll do anything for attention. They'll say anything, they'll do anything. And if it is to, and they love to talk stories. You cannot believe what women say. You have to watch what they do. Okay. So we're going to watch this testimony. Jared Bridegan was killed by Henry Tenen, who was the prosecution, alleges that he was hired by, Jared Bridegan's ex-wife and her current husband. They paid Henry Tenen to ambush Jared Bridegan by putting a tire in the middle of the road. When he got out to get the tire out of the way, he was ambushed by Harry Tenen, who's a black male, and was a tenant of Mario Saldana, who is Jared Bridegan's ex-wife's current husband. So, if that makes sense. But anyway, this witness here is an old friend of Mario, and she's there to say he viewed their relationship like a contract. But what's going to be important is, let me know when you hear her admit that they had a sexual relationship. Let me know when you hear her admit that. Or does that have to be coaxed out of her by the defense counsel? And this is what I want you to see. What women show publicly, their public face. They're going to be the good girl, and how they act privately, okay? Especially when it comes to their sexuality, their most private agency. Okay, powerful agency, my bad. But anyway, let's go ahead and start this. This is a prosecution. She's on direct examination, and then she's going to get hammered by the defense attorney who does cross-examination, who's there to impeach the witness. And I think he does a pretty good job of doing that because she puts her public face on, and lies by omission, by not giving information, it still lies.
Could you please state your name for the record?
It's Taylor Alexandra Kudis.
And could you spell your last name for our court reporter?
It's Kutis.
And Ms. Kudis, what state are you currently living in?
I live in Tennessee.
And what do you do for a living?
I am a corporate sales trainer for a company called Corpay.
Are you married?
I am.
And what does your husband do for a living?
My husband is an active duty military. He's in the Army.
And do you know the defendant in this case, Mario Fernandez Saldana?
I do.
On your Zoom screen, can you see Mr. Fernandez? And if so, could you please identify him by what color suit and tie he's wearing?
Yes, I can actually see the back of him. He looks to be wearing a gray suit with a white shirt underneath.
Okay.
I can see the back of his head.
If you're looking, you can see the judge straight in front of you. Which side of the courtroom is he seated on?
He
Okay, we're gonna go forward just a little bit. All she's doing is identifying him. But did you hear anything about her saying that they had sex numerous years ago? They had a fling. Did you hear that? I didn't. She identified him, but you know, she know. Anyway, I'm just kind of being facetious. But let's go ahead just a little bit.
4.
Yes.
Okay, let's go a little ahead.
Can you see
She
his
just
face
she
on
just
TV?
identifying the guy. Okay.
Mr. Fernandez in 2013, 2015. I was
So she met him in 2014, 2015. Okay.
OTC at Vanderbilt University,
She's an ROTC at Vanderbilt University, and he's going to be her drill sergeant. Let's go.
and we did a leadership training course in Fort Knox, Kentucky, and that is where I met him through that leadership training course. He was a drill sergeant at the time that we had that training.
And can you describe for the jury what the nature of your relationship was?
Nature of the relationship. Let's go ahead and. Right now would be a good time to say they banged. Let's hear this. What'd she say?
In 2013 through 2015.
Yep. So we met at the training course, and then post training course, a lot of the cadets and then mentors, drill sergeants, we stayed in touch, and so we kind of developed a friendship outside of that, and then we just kept in touch over the years through phone and email and text and all the things.
And you answered the next question I was going to ask. Which is,
Okay, so looks like they were in a training course, ROTC. Mario Saldana was her drill instructor, and they all just kind of stayed in touch. That's good. That's good. So I didn't hear anything about banging and have fucking and no. So that's a good girl. I'm glad she's a good girl. Let's see if we learn anything else. Wow, that's good. They all just stayed in touch. Good.
what did you keep in touch? You said phone, email,
Texting.
Have you ever visited in person since 2015?
I believe it was in 2015, the last time.
The last time they probably banged, but she's gonna get off the hook here because she said, "Have you seen him since 2015?" No, they stopped fucking in 2015. But have you heard her mention anything about that?
I would have seen him in person.
How often would you two communicate over the years?
I would say over the years it was definitely intermittent. I was married previously, so every now and then we would catch back up. But I would say frequently over the years. But then there would be periods of time where we did not.
I want to talk to you about your relationship via text and phone and email.
Text, phone, and email. Good
In
girl. I mean,
2021.
look at the. Come on, man. Text, phone, and email. That's all we do.
Leading into 2022.
Yep. So just to provide context, my oldest daughter is adopted. I adopted her. So she's my stepdaughter, and at the time.
Okay, let me break this down real quick for men and women. So, Mario has 2 stepkids with his current wife, Jared Bridegan, who was murdered. He is the stepfather of his 2 kids, and Mario apparently loved those kids. But from what I understand, Jared and Shauna, that's Mario's current wife, Jared Bridegan's ex-wife, and the father, anyway, so Mario's trying to be a good stepdad, and he loves the kids, but it is difficult. I've been there. This is red pill truth, where it is very hard to raise kids that aren't yours. I would suggest, to avoid that. I think the new paradigm is you can date single mothers, but I'm dating you and not your kids. Do not get involved with their kids, because here's why these two are still communicating. It doesn't look like they're having sex, whatever, it doesn't matter. But here we're talking about a different point of red pill that we can learn, a lesson learned. This is a gem, is that she's calling about a daughter she's adopted from her current husband, her stepdaughter, and even women. So women like to push a narrative that don't be the dad. You're not just the dad. You're the dad that stepped up. Your stepdad. You stepped up, and they want to make it a positive thing. You're the stepdaddy, like you're important. No, you ain't important. Trust me. You're chopped liver, and you'll definitely hear you're not my daddy if you raise the kids long enough. And that, and you'll see that the biological father, no matter how bad he is, Been there and done this. He'll get more respect than you do. There's just the way it is. And so they're both having stepchildren issues. So my advice to you is stay out of other children's lives. If they're not yours, do not try to raise them. Do not try to. You are dating the person, the adult. Okay, that's separate from you. Okay, you need the only law was it law 20? Never commit to anyone but yourself. Law 20, never commit to anyone but yourself. So if you want to put your self-interest first, especially men, your mental point of origin needs to be you, and you do not need to be wasting your time and resources on another man's DNA. Doesn't mean you can't date single moms. Single moms can be wonderful people, but I am not getting myself involved with your kids. Okay? Both these, even women have trouble with stepkids. That's why she's talking to Mara once again. Let's keep going.
When we were communicating in 2021 leading up to 2022, we communicated via text regarding just different co-parenting communications techniques to like have conversations. He was really good at kind of helping me work through some of those things that I was experiencing.
Yeah, she's so what she did. Let me translate. They were talking about co-parenting situations. He was very good at telling. He's a good mentor. He's giving her advice on how to properly communicate with her spouse regarding a shitty situation she finds herself in with a stepchild. She's having trouble, and she's reaching out to him. She's kind of making it sound like they're reaching out to each other, but you'll hear later, she's reaching out to him because she's miserable with a stepchild.
And so that was kind of like the nature of our phone calls and things like that, was to just chat through some of the things that we were kind of both going through, I believe, at the time.
Just to clarify, at that time, you were married to your husband, your now husband.
Mm-hmm. I was married in 2022, so it was kind of leading up to, like we were talking in 2021, and then leading up to when I did get married to my husband.
And the co-parenting relationship that you had going on was with your now husband that you were dating and his ex-wife.
Yes, correct.
And Mr. Fernandez was, did he also relate to you that he had a similar situation and that his wife had an ex-husband and they were co-parenting as well?
Yes, that is correct.
Did he ever discuss with you his wife's ex-husband, the victim in this case, Jared Bridegan?
Yes, just at time, like briefly at times, I believe he would just discuss maybe different drop-offs, just different situations that they were kind of going through.
How did he describe the nature of their co-parenting relationship?
I mean, he definitely mentioned that it was high conflict, difficult at times, I believe.
Did he discuss his relationship at the time with his wife, someone who may be known to you as Shanna Gardner?
Yes, he did.
What did he say about his relationship with Miss Gardner when you were having these conversations in 2021 leading into 2022?
From what I remember, he said they were kind of, having some difficulties at the time, that maybe they weren't going to continue to be together, things of that nature.
Did he ever discuss with you his relationship with Miss Gardner's family?
I don't believe. Oh, yes, he did.
And what did he say? Maybe relationship's a strong word. Did he ever discuss Miss Gardner's family with you?
Yes, I believe he described his kind of his relationship with her as a contract between her parents that he had worked out with her parents, is what he referred to it as to me.
And when he mentioned that he had some kind of contract with her family, did he give any further details about what that could possibly mean?
No, he didn't really go into too much detail. He would just refer to it as a contract, and that was really all he said. Didn't give a lot more context to that.
Did you ask him follow-up questions about that?
I don't remember exactly if I did, but I think he was just a little mysterious about exactly what that meant.
You said he was mysterious about it. Did he ever make comments to you about skills that he had?
Yes, at times he would mention that maybe his Army experience, he had like a special set of skills, or just that he had maybe different types of training that he described, maybe he had, from his time in the military.
And you knew that he briefly served in the Army as well?
Yes, correct.
The things he said to you about his Army service, did they make sense to you given what you knew from your husband, who's still an active member of the Army?
Now listen to this low-key diss. This is passive-aggressive. You gotta be... She's going to talk highly of her Special Forces husband, and in the meantime, diss Mario. But Mario tagged that ass first, young lady. And she was impressed by him enough to bang the shit out of him. Just saying. Women will shit-talk you. The real story is you found it contextually, you found him as alpha because he was your drill sergeant during your leadership training back in 2013, 2015. This will be hashed out in a minute. So what she says is different from what she does.
He just was very vague about the specifics of it. I knew that he wasn't so for context, my husband is a Green Beret. He's in the Special Forces. His extensive training took almost 2 years to go through. So when I learned that later on, just kind of comparing, I don't think that he went through the same training to be a Green Beret specifically.
At any point during our conversations with Mr. Fernandez in 2021 into 2022, did you perceive that he was interested in starting some kind of romantic relationship with you?
Yeah, I definitely think that there might have been some underlying tones there to maybe...
She knew she wanted to fuck her. And that's the thing I say about guys. They know. And whether she's being... I think, yes, I definitely think when he was calling, yeah, I don't... They know you want to fuck. Don't ever shy away. Don't ever apologize for it. If that's what you want to do, you just be open, honest. Women want to know, and they'll find disrespect to a man that doesn't have the balls to tell them they want to fuck. Okay? So, she's being coy. She knew. This is her public face. Look at, yeah, she knows people are listening. I think you get her behind closed doors, she'll be like, yeah, that motherfucker wanted to fuck me. Hell yeah, he did,
out to see if there was any potential for pursuing something with me. That's how it felt maybe.
Did you relay to him that you would be interested in that type of relationship?
No, I was not interested. I think that is kind of what ultimately led to when we ended communication with each other.
As it should. Why am I going to waste my time being your friend? Sitting there giving her advice, and she said, and she was calling him, by the way. But the first time I ever saw this, I'm always with the, raised eye, Futurama guy, what's going on here? So at this point, from her testimony, it seems that Mario just wanted to get sex from her. She was going to keep him in the friend zone, and they never had romantic, a romantic interlude at all. It sounded like Mario was stuck in the friend zone. However, we're about to find out through cross-examination, which is a great thing, because that's why we like to watch criminal cases. It elicits the truth. Otherwise, she would have gone on and we would have thought, Mario was trying to get laid. Well, Mario already did get laid.
When was the last time you spoke with Mr. Fernandez?
I believe, I don't have exact dates, but I know that it was sometime in 2022. Definitely February, March would have been maybe the last time that we would have spoken via phone. But again, I don't have exact dates.
That's fine. I'm not going to hold you to an exact date.
Okay.
We're not human calendars. I get that. When you spoke to him the last time or few times, did he ask to visit you in person?
He did mention visiting in person, yes.
And did you ever actually meet up with him in person?
No, we did not.
So, and he cut the relate. So they'll, and again, she'll hold that out. A woman will hold out the sex part, you know, and kind of be flirting with you, and then, you know, no, we didn't. She knowing that she was never going to be. You know, I'm just saying, watch out for that. She wanted his attention. She wanted his leadership. See, men are useful. She wanted his attention. She wanted his leadership. He offered good advice on the co-parenting stuff. But once Mario was like, yeah, this chick ain't gonna meet, he cut it off, like she said. But that's as she should, you know. Men offer a lot of utility to women, you know. I don't think it went the same way here.
Mr. Fernandez,
Not as he usually
in
doesn't.
2022, call you and tell you about the death of his wife's ex-husband.
Yes, he did.
Do you recall when he called you in relation to when the homicide occurred?
It was after he called me we were talking, kind of chatting, catching up about work. Can't remember the exact context of the beginning of the call. And then he said that he thought that the kid's dad had died, and he thinks that it was a hit and run, was what he told me specifically.
And do you remember how close in time that was? Was the day after, a few days, weeks, months?
I believe that it was a few days after, but I'm not exact on that. But I know it was after it happened.
Did he give any more details other than it was a hit and run?
No, he did not.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Kudis. I don't have any further questions.
All right, thank you. Cross-examination.
All right, let's get the truth here. Now watch the way this guy, if you shouldn't argue with women, but if you're going to have a discussion with women, how he stays composed, professional, emotionally controlled. He knows what he wants to know. He knows where he's going with it. He knows the facts, and he's just going to hammer down the facts. Because when you're not necessarily going to cross-examine a woman, but you kind of need to have that behavior of, I know the facts I want to know. I'm going to get down to business, and don't chase their arguments. Here we go.
Good afternoon, Ms. Kudis. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I just can't see you, so let me... Oh, there you are.
So let's back up a little bit. You met him in 2013, is that correct?
I believe it was around that time frame, yes, sir.
And although you told the jury that you guys, kept up a little bit of a friendship, you didn't tell the jury that you actually had a little fling with Mr. Fernandez, a romantic fling.
Boom!
We did have a fling back in, I guess...
And he's even being nice if we had a fling. That means banging, sucking, banging, hitting, pulling that hair, doggy banging, riding it. Little fling. You see, it just played around. And I love women for this. I love the bad girl side. But again, guys, they're not. That's the public face. All this crap they talk on TikTok. She looks like she's gonna look like a whole different person now.
That same time frame, 2013
Whoops.
to 2015.
Whoops!
And you would agree that's an important detail.
That you left
when the
out.
state then later asked you if he thought maybe he was pursuing you. You had a history where at one point he did pursue you, correct?
Right. And you submitted to that pursuance. Yes.
Can you ask that again? I'm sorry.
He pursued you for sex, and you guys fucked.
At one point in time, he did pursue you romantically, and it worked. And it worked. You were romantic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh, yes.
And then later,
Hey, you see the minimization of that guy? 10 years ago, yes. It don't matter. You still sucking and fucking with this guy 10 years ago. It don't matter. It's a body.
sort of again, if maybe you would be interested, correct?
Yeah, I believe that was kind of what his underlying tone maybe was in some of our conversations. Yes.
And I'll give you my personal advice on this. Unless a woman's reaching out to you specifically, wanting to bang, if she's just wanting to talk, that needs to be the first. Let's say you have a girl, and this happens to me. But let's say you have a girl, you hadn't seen her in 2 years. She reaches back out to you. Okay, I had my first high school girlfriend reach out to me after 30 years, okay? And within 15 minutes of the conversation, she was coming from Atlanta to Houston. I said, are you coming to fuck, or are you just coming to try to see me? Because if you just come to try to see me, don't come. You know, her family lived here too. But I mean, my point was, it's going to be, so that's what you need to do if that's what you want, right? So, yeah.
Told you that things between him and his wife had sort of...
Because they'll talk your ear off trying to act like, no, get down to business. What is this? Why you And it has to be her idea. Don't be doing this WIDs and you ain't seen the girl in a year and thinking that she knows you're desperate then. She knows you're out of options. Now if she contacts you, if I've ever, and from me knowing my mistakes, if I ever reached out to a woman, WID, or whatever, trying to, very few times does it work because women don't like you reaching out to them. But if they reach out to you thinking about you, that changes things. But it needs to be their idea.
Course, right?
I believe I can't exactly recall like the exact timeline of how it all played out.
All right, well, let's go back through some timeline. Mr. Fernandez told you that he got married. He didn't hide that from you, correct?
Yes, he did.
And you knew that he was married for years, correct?
Yes.
And during that time, in your on and off friendship, you were having some co-parenting issues in your own personal life, correct?
Correct.
So you would contact Mr. Fernandez and you guys would talk about that, correct?
Correct.
He didn't just call you to gripe about Jared Bridegan, his current wife's ex-husband, correct?
No, that was not.
You would be griping, sorry, I didn't interrupt you. You would be griping about your personal step-parent.
You would be griping about your step-parent role because they suck for both men and women. Understand that. You still can be or you can still have great relationships and loving relationships with single parents, but you need that their kids, do not move in with them, do not try to father their mother or father their kids, because look what happens here. She's having problems with this girl here, is pretty girl, is having problems with the ex-wife, because ex-wives will hate you. They don't want you raising their kids. It's a lose-lose situation. Stay out of step-kids' lives. Those aren't your problem. Stay out of it. We as human beings have enough problems of our own. We don't need to add someone else's kids to. And if someone doesn't love you enough to understand that, then let them go, okay? Because there's someone else out there that will understand or doesn't have kids. And Mario's in this situation because of the child custody issues. And he got involved. He ended up loving her kids, and I think that was what drove him. If he is guilty in this, that's what drove him. So to get so mad to hire someone to murder her ex-husband. So this all stems from stepkids, and it's bad for both women and men.
Situation, and then he would talk to you about it, right?
Yes, I believe that was kind of both sides of it.
And in fact, you thought he was a valuable resource. Because you would contact him to get advice from him, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Men are valuable resources, but that doesn't come. You need to. Women will use you because men are very useful to women. We offer logical, rational advice. You don't hear it really going the other way here. Okay, but I'm not here to be you're not here to be any woman's therapist, okay? Unless she's banging you. You have a limited amount of energy. You have a limited amount of time. Do not commit to anyone but yourself. Put yourself first. If you don't want to be talking to a woman and being her therapist, because she's not, she doesn't even, look how much time he was spending talking to her, and look how she's repaying him.
Talk about this contract. Did you ever write any of this down, or is this all from your memory that he said something about a contract marriage?
This is all from just conversations that we had. It was not written down.
Right. So you're just recalling that he said something like this, but what you may or may not know, let me ask you, did you know that Mr. Fernandez was the trustee of the family trust?
That's a contract.
I did not know that, no.
Did you know that Mr. and Mrs. Fernandez had a postnuptial agreement?
No, he did not refer to it to me as a nuptial agreement.
He may have referred to you as a contract, right? 'Cause that's the word
Yes,
you
he
seem to have remembered, right?
Correct.
A postnuptial agreement is just a contract between two people on how they're going to separate their belongings. You agree with that, right?
Correct.
Okay, and you can't recall, as you sit here today, the specifics of what he was talking about in that contract situation, right?
He never disclosed the specifics of the contract. He just referred to it as a contract and again was aloof with those details to me. So
Did you ever ask him what he was referring to?
I don't remember if I asked him specifically. I just remember he reiterated that it was a contract. That was the word that stuck out in my mind.
Gotcha. But as you sit here, you don't recall whether you even asked him what he was referring to, right?
I don't recall the specifics, no.
And you don't remember the specifics of your conversations with him. And I think you've, in fact, told me before that none of this is for verbatim, correct?
Correct. I think just the timeline and like the specifics of conversation, I can't remember exactly what was said and when.
Right.
For that specific conversation regarding the contract.
Because you had a lot of conversations with him and you just don't have a recollection. That's because you didn't write anything down, right?
I don't think I did write anything down, no.
No.
So let's be real clear about another concept.
Just like the advice he gave, all that time wasted. Women will not take your advice. Even do not be a woman's therapist. Do not be giving them advice, okay? You can empathize with them a little bit, especially if you ain't banging them.
Mr. Fernandez calls and he tells you that Jared Bridegan died, and you recall that he said something about a hit and run, correct?
Yes, he did.
But again, you don't remember that verbatim, correct?
I do remember that stuck out in my mind. I do remember that he said those words.
Do you know if Mr. Fernandez knew the details of the homicide at that point, 1 or 2 or 3 days after the homicide?
All he said was they think it was a hit and run. That's what stuck out in my mind.
Did you know that the person who's responsible for this homicide ran away from the scene?
I don't know really any other details. I haven't followed
Okay. But in
this
fact,
closely.
in this particular homicide, this jury has since learned that the person who shot Mr. Bridegan ran away from the scene. You didn't know that, did you?
I think I knew some of the details. I think I knew that there was another individual involved, but I don't know like the specific nuances
From
of
the
like,
news.
All right. So
how it all played out.
and you know that not because Mr. Fernandez told you that. That's because you looked things up after Mr. Fernandez told you about Mr. Bridegan passing away or dying, correct?
I did look it up, yes.
Yeah. And you followed it in the media, correct?
Yes, I haven't followed it closely though.
All right.
Since, yeah.
But let me be real clear about this question. You never contacted law enforcement and said, you know what? I've read this stuff in the media. Mr. Fernandez told me some stuff about a contract and a hit and run. I think you ought to know that. That never happened, did it, Ms. Kudas?
I'm not sure I'm following what.
She never called the police because it ain't nothing. You never called the police.
What you mean.
Law enforcement contacted you, correct?
Yes, correct.
You never contacted law enforcement, correct?
No, I did not.
Hey, tapping that ass, ain't you, Mario? Good go, way to go, Mario. And according to Shauna's best friend, that is his current wife, supposedly he talked to a lot of ladies. He was very charismatic. That mouthpiece, gentlemen.
And when law enforcement finally did decide to contact you, when they did, you have previously told me it wasn't because you thought it had anything to do with this case. You thought it had to do with a personal issue in your own co-parenting case, your own family law case, right?
When they came to our house in North Carolina, I was not aware or sure what it was. I did think that it had to do with my husband's ex-wife at the time, just because we were kind of going through some high conflict issues.
All right, so you hear that? This is once again. This is not an indictment on single moms. We can date single moms. We can love single moms. They're wonderful. And just because they, are not with the baby daddy anymore, but that ain't your problem. And see what she's going through here? She thought the cops were at her house because she was having a high conflict with the ex-wife and the husband. It is always a problem, no matter how good you are. They're highly, they're just drama. Do not get involved in their business. And the thing is you can date them, you can love them, you can, do not live with the person that's a single mom. Do not get involved with their children. And when they separate, when they exchange children, you're not involved in that either, man or woman. I say this for both men and women. Okay, I'm trying to keep y'all out of trouble. I've been there, done that. I'm 50 years old, and this is why I know things. I'm a wise man. Learn from my mistakes. And I made a mistake dating a single mom with kids. It sucked, and I got hosed. And I'm mad about it. I just learned, and I love the